Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm excited to kick off a short build series on how to beef up your NP231 transfer case. Unfortunately, after I started this little project and buying all the parts that I needed, I realized that I could have just swapped in an NP241 transfer case and been done with it. I found that out on NC 4x4. I should really spend a little more time on that website to learn some stuff from the guys that know quite a bit more than I do. But anyway, like I said before on this channel, you know, I'll fly by the seat of my pants. Most times it works out, sometimes it doesn't. This time it's going to work out, but it's just going to cost me more than it probably should have. So I guess you guys can have a laugh at my expense, and hey, maybe you'll learn something from this. You know, maybe you've got a NP231 transfer case that already has an SYE on it and you want to beef up the internals. Well, this series will show you how to do that. Plus, this series is going to wind up showing you how the transfer case actually works. Once I tear it apart, I'll kind of try to explain in the best way that I can of how it works. But just for today, we're going to be going over how I identified the transfer case just from pictures that I found on Facebook Marketplace. So we'll get into that video now. The next video is going to start the tear down and trying to explain how everything works. So hope you guys stay tuned and please consider subscribing. It'll really help me out. Thank you. Okay, one of the first things you want to check is to make sure that the transfer case spins smoothly and freely. And right now I'm going to show you how to check the low range ratio and see what you've actually got, just in case your tag is missing. So you'll see here on the input shaft I have a mark, and on the front output shaft I have marks. This is the bottom of the transfer case, this is the front output, this is the input. So your shifter needs to be pushed all the way down. Now if you'll pay attention to this mark here, I'm going to spin this front output shaft one revolution, and you guys count how many times this input shaft turns. Ready? Let's go. Alright, there we go. So how many times did you count? About 2 3/4-ish, something like that. And if you did, you're right, because this is a 272 low range. Alright, this is more for the person that is going to be maybe buying a transfer case from an individual on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or whatever, or if you're just looking at one online that's on eBay. I'm going to show you some clues to kind of see what you're getting. And myself, I'm looking for a night, because there's a little bit of debate of whether the change happened in 94 or 95, or if anyway, there's a change in the planetary gear. The angle of this planetary gear, those angles changed ever so slightly in the 94 to 95 range. Now, since I'm putting this transfer case into a 93 Jeep ZJ, I needed the planetary set and everything from the earlier year model, because I'm going to have to take the input shaft from the 249 transfer case that I currently have, and I'm going to have to swap it into this NP231 transfer case. And we're also going to be doing a wide chain upgrade kit, as well as this planetary that I just showed you. If you notice, it's a 6-pinion planetary. These NP231s came stock with a 3-pinion planetary, so we're going to be beefing it up quite a bit. This is not going to be the ultimate NP231. That's why I'm calling it the almost ultimate NP231, because this is what you can do on a budget. So let's get down to business and start looking at this transfer case and see what we've got. So first off, you're going to look for your tag. You can see your tag right here. This one actually says 231 AMC. Most of what you're going to find these days is going to say it's going to say 231J, 231C, 231D, and those are all designations for which vehicle they came in. J is for Jeep, D is for Dodge, C is for Chevrolet. And also, if you'll look on this tag, this is an early tag, so it's only got 2 numbers for a date. This is your build date, 9, and it says 86. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. And it says 272 right here. That's your low range gear ratio. So, now, since I knew that I was looking for an early model transfer case, this one popped up on Facebook Marketplace for what I thought was a screaming deal. And I knew right away when I saw this vacuum switch and this mechanical speedometer drive, I knew that this was a very early case, which it would have the correct gear pitch on the input shaft and the planetary gears to match what I've already got in the Grand Cherokee. Now this is your shifter. Your shifter handle will be inside the Jeep, and the bell crank type setup they've got. Right now it's in 4-low. You can tell by how I turn this shaft slow and this input shaft turns very fast. I think I showed you that in the video already. I don't know where we're at here, but anyway, all right, so that's 4-low. Click once, that'll be neutral. So now I can turn that without this turning, and I turn this without that turning. We can turn them independently of one another. See? All right, now that is going to be 4 high. Now you notice the input shaft turns again, and I can turn this and it turns the output shaft. And that's going to be 2 high. Okay, another couple of easy things to see to tell you, kind of give you an idea of what you're looking at in a picture. 6 bolts. That's going to be Jeep and Dodge. I believe Dodge. I know it's for Jeep. I'm pretty sure it's for Dodge. Don't send me hate mail if it's wrong. The NP231C, which is what goes into a Chevrolet, is going to have 5 bolts. So there's another clue. Another thing to look at is the input shaft. If you'll notice the input shaft here, this is a 21 spline input shaft. And the reason why I know is I've already counted. But when you look at a picture, you'll look at this input shaft. You'll look, see how thick this shoulder is here? Now on the 23 spline, which is what would come behind the V8 and the 4.0, it would be this, to make enough room for the extra splines, this bore gets a little larger because the output shaft gets a little larger. So naturally, this shoulder is not going to be quite as wide on a 23 spline versus a 21 spline. So again, that's just a quick visual thing you can look at, but always count.